Imagine finding a simple state quarter in your pocket change. In this video, we're counting down the top 5 most valuable state quarter dollars ever discovered. That's right, some of these 50 state quarters, minted between 1999 and 2008, hide shocking secrets that most people overlook. From rare minting errors to limited production runs, these coins have become hidden treasures. The 1999 P-era Connecticut state quarter dollar are among the rarest and most valuable coins ever discovered from the modern U.S. Mint. Imagine picking up a quarter from your change, one that looks like any other. It's got George Washington on the front, and on the back, a big beautiful tree spreading its branches proudly. But what if that simple coin, that ordinary-looking 1999 Connecticut state quarter, was hiding a secret worth thousands, hundreds of thousands, or even millions of dollars? Let's go back in time for a moment to the year 1999. It was the start of something huge in American coin history. The U.S. Mint had just launched the 50 State Quarters program, one of the most ambitious and popular coin programs ever. Each state would get its own unique quarter design, released in the order that the states joined the Union, and collectors went absolutely wild. Everyone wanted to find, first, there's the double die obverse and double die reverse variety. These are coins where parts of the design were accidentally doubled during the striking process. On the obverse, you might see doubling in the letters of liberty. On the reverse, you might notice the branches of the charter oak looking thicker, or the leaves showing doubled edges like a shadow effect. These are not normal, and collectors go crazy for them. A strong double die Connecticut quarter can easily fetch to $1,000 to $5,000, and pristine examples graded in mint state can exceed $10,000, but that's just the beginning. Some of the rarest 1999 P Connecticut quarters are off-center strikes where the design is misaligned, leaving part of the blank surface exposed. The more dramatic the off-center strike, the more valuable the coin. When the date and design are still visible despite the off-center strike, collectors will pay huge money. Examples of these errors have sold for $15,000 to $25,000, depending on how far off-center they are. Another stunning mistake from the Philadelphia Mint that year was the broad strike error coins that were struck without the restraining collar, causing the metal to spread wider than normal. These coins look larger and flatter than standard quarters, and when they appear in gem condition, they can sell for $3,000 to $7,000, and then there's the clipped planchette error, one of the most eye-catching mistakes. In this case, part of the coin's edge is missing, usually in a crescent shape, caused when the blank metal discs were improperly cut at the mint. A beautifully struck Connecticut clipped planchette error can bring in $1,000 to $5,000, depending on its size and appearance. The 1999 D-era Georgia state quarter dollar is one of the most fascinating and valuable modern U.S. coins ever minted. And believe it or not, some of the rarest error versions of this quarter have sold for absolutely jaw-dropping amounts. We're talking hundreds, thousands, and in some exceptional cases, well into the 6 or even 7-figure range. So stay tuned until the very end, because you might just discover that you've been holding a treasure worth more than a luxury car or even a house. Now, let's dive deep into the story behind the 1999 Georgia state quarter dollar, a coin that kicked off one of the most popular U.S. coin programs in history. The State Quarters program. In 1999, the U.S. Mint began an ambitious project to honor all 50 states with their own unique quarter designs, releasing 5 new coins each year in the order that the states entered the Union. The Georgia quarter was one of the first released in that inaugural year, representing the 4th state admitted to the Union back in 1788. These experimental quarters are ultra-rare. Only a handful have ever been found, and collectors are willing to pay staggering prices for them. One 1999 Georgia state quarter struck on an experimental planchette sold for well over $5,000. And some of the earlier state quarters from that same experimental series, like Delaware and Pennsylvania, have sold for $10,000 to $15,000 or more. Given the extreme rarity and unique historical context, a pristine Georgia example could easily exceed those prices today, potentially reaching $25,000 to $50,000, depending on condition and demand. Another highly valuable variety of the 1999 D Georgia quarter is the off-center strike. This happens when the coin blank is misaligned during striking, causing part of the design to be missing. The more dramatic the misalignment, the more valuable the coin becomes. A minor off-center error might fetch $100 or so, but examples with 50% or more of the design missing yet still showing the full date and mint mark can sell for $1,000 to $3,000 or even higher. Then there are the double die errors, one of collectors' favorites. A double die occurs when the die used to strike the coin has been engraved twice at slightly different angles, creating a doubling effect on the design elements. For the 1999 Georgia State Quarter, double die errors have been spotted on both the obverse and reverse. You can sometimes see clear doubling on the letters in Liberty, or even around the edges of the peach and leaves on the reverse. Depending on the severity and clarity of the doubling, these coins can range anywhere from $200 to $2,000 in value, and even higher in pristine uncirculated grades. Another thing that adds to the coin's value is its mint state condition. If you have a 1999 Georgia State Quarter that has never circulated, meaning it still shines with its original mint luster and shows no scratches or where you could be sitting on a gem. High-grade uncirculated examples, especially those graded MS67 or higher by PCGS or NGC, can sell for hundreds to thousands of dollars, even without any errors. For example, one pristine 1999 Georgia Quarter graded MS68 by PCGS sold for around $1,000 purely because of its nearly flawless condition. Today we're diving deep into one of the most shocking and fascinating coins in U.S. history, the 1999 P-era Delaware State Quarter dollar. This little coin, which most people used without a second thought, has some rare error varieties that have sold for mind-blowing prices. Have you ever imagined that a simple 25-cent coin sitting in your pocket could be worth thousands or even millions of dollars? Well, hold on to your seats. The 1999 P Delaware State Quarter was part of the Revolutionary State Quarters program launched by the U.S. Mint in 1999. This was the year that started it all, the beginning of one of the most successful coin programs in American history. The idea was to release a new quarter for each of the 50 states, 5 per year, in the order that they joined the Union. Delaware was the first. Honoring its position as the first state to ratify the U.S. Constitution in 1787, a Delaware State Quarter struck on a golden-colored planchette, giving it a unique, eye-catching tone unlike any other quarter. These rare coins are known as experimental Delaware quarters, and they are among the most valuable modern errors in existence. A few have been authenticated by major grading services like PCGS and NGC, and when they appear at auction, collectors go absolutely wild. One known example sold for over $10,000, while others from the same experimental batch have fetched prices as high as $15,000 to $20,000, depending on the condition. Experts believe fewer than 20 of these experimental planchette Delaware quarters exist, making them true modern treasures. And here's the kicker: some numismatists believe that if a pristine, high-grade specimen were ever to surface, it could easily be worth $50,000 or even $100,000 at auction. In theory, the perfect coin with flawless surfaces, bright golden luster, and confirmed mint origin could even break into the $1 million range just because of its rarity and historical importance. But the excitement doesn't stop there. Another dramatic type of error found on the 1999 P Delaware Quarter is the double die error. In these coins, elements of the design appear doubled because the die used to strike the coin was engraved twice at slightly different angles. On the Delaware Quarter, collectors have reported doubling on the words Liberty and the First State, as well as around Caesar Rodney's horse. These double die errors can range in value from $200 for minor doubling to over $3,000 for more dramatic and well-defined examples in uncirculated grades. You can also find off-center strike errors for this coin. These happen when the planchette isn't properly centered during the minting process, causing part of the design to be missing. The more off-center it is, while still showing the date and mint mark, the more valuable it becomes. A 10% off-center Delaware quarter might sell for $100, while a 50% off-center strike can easily fetch $1,000 to $2,000, or even more if it's in mint condition. The 1999 P-era Pennsylvania State Quarter dollar, that's right. Some of these coins, which most people spent without a second thought, have turned out to be modern treasures, fetching absolutely jaw-dropping prices at auctions. So stay with me until the very end, because today you're going to discover how one simple coin from 1999 could turn out to be worth a small fortune hiding in your pocket change. The 1999p Pennsylvania State Quarter Dollar is part of one of the most iconic U.S. coin programs ever created, the 50 State Quarters program. This program began in 1999 and continued for a decade, releasing 5 new state designs every year in the order that the states joined the Union, Pennsylvania being the second state to ratify the U.S. Constitution, was one of the first 5 quarters released during that monumental launch year. A handful of these 1999p Pennsylvania State Quarters, struck on experimental plankets, have been authenticated by major grading companies like PCGS and NGC. They are exceptionally rare, and when they appear at auction, they command astonishing prices. One known example sold for more than $10,000, and others have fetched between $15,000 and $25,000, depending on condition. Experts believe that fewer than 24 of these exist in the entire world. If a pristine, high-grade example were ever to surface perfectly preserved with full mint luster and no circulation marks, it could easily bring $50,000 or even $100,000. And if such a coin were to go to auction today, given the explosion of interest in error coins, it could reach into the $1 million range. Another incredible and highly sought-after error found on the 1999p Pennsylvania quarter is the double die error. This occurs when the die used to strike the coin has been engraved twice at slightly different angles, creating a doubled appearance on the design elements. Collectors have reported doubling on the obverse in words like liberty, and on the reverse in details of the statue or state outline. Depending on how strong and visible the doubling is, these coins can range in value from a few $100s all the way up to $2,000 or $3,000 in uncirculated grades. Then there are off-center strike errors. These happen when the blank planchette isn't properly aligned during the minting process, causing part of the design to be missing. The more off-center the strike, the more valuable the coin becomes. If the date and mint mark are still visible, that value skyrockets. Minor off-center strikes might bring $100 to $200, but major ones where 40% or more of the design is missing can sell for $1,000 or more. Condition, as always, plays a massive role in determining value. A heavily circulated 1999p Pennsylvania quarter is worth its face value just 25 cents. But a high-grade uncirculated example, one that still gleams with its original mint luster, can be worth $100 to $500, even without any errors. If you happen to find one graded MS67 or MS68 by PCGS or NGC, you're looking at a value closer to $1,000 to $2,000. Combine the pristine condition with a rare minting error, and you're easily looking at 5 or 6 figures. Have you ever held a 1999p error New Jersey State Quarter Dollar and wondered if that ordinary-looking coin could actually be worth a fortune? Well, get ready, because some of these rare 1999p error quarters have shocked collectors with prices soaring from just a few $100s to tens of thousands, and in a few cases, even crossing into the $1 million territory when found in exceptional condition or with dramatic minting errors. This isn't just pocket change we're talking about. It's a piece of American coin history that could change your life overnight. The 1999p New Jersey State Quarter Dollar was part of the very first year of the U.S. Mint State Quarters program, which began in 1999 and ran through 2008. The series honored each of the 50 states with unique designs on the reverse side, while the obverse continued to feature the classic portrait of George Washington. But what made the 1999p New Jersey coin particularly special, and in some cases, extremely valuable, were the rare errors and striking anomalies that slipped through during production at the Philadelphia Mint. These rare mistakes transformed a 25-cent coin into a collector's dream, commanding staggering prices in auctions and private sales. Collectors around the world have gone crazy for these error varieties, because 1999 was such a historic year. It marked the birth of the 50 State Quarters program, and anything unusual from that first batch has massive appeal when it comes to coin collecting. The earlier the error in a famous series, the higher the potential value, especially when the coin is well preserved in mint state condition. Some of these rare 1999p New Jersey quarters have been graded by professional grading services like PCGS or NGC at high mint states, Ms. 66. MS67, and even MS68, and have fetched jaw-dropping sums, but that's not even the most incredible part. There have been reports of transitional planchet errors, where the coin was struck on a leftover 90% silver planchet, intended for proof coins. If authenticated, such a coin could be worth well into the six-figure range, potentially up to hundreds of thousands or even $1 million in pristine condition, simply because it would represent one of the most extraordinary minting mistakes in modern U.S. coinage history. When searching through 1999p New Jersey quarters, pay special attention to the edges and surfaces. If you notice the copper layer showing through unusually, or the coin feels slightly thinner or thicker than normal, it could indicate a missing clad layer or planchet error. Such coins have sold for $1,000 to $5,000, depending on condition and visibility of the error. Proof-like strikes, or coins that show mirror-like surfaces despite being circulation strikes, are also desirable, especially if they come from an early die state where the details are sharp and crisp. Collectors also prize examples that have been graded by PCGS or NGC as MS68 or higher. At that level, the coins exhibit nearly flawless surfaces with no visible scratches, wear, or contact marks. A 1999p New Jersey quarter graded MS68 can easily sell for $5,000 to $15,000, even without a major visible error, due to the sheer rarity of finding such a pristine example from that early production run. Combine that with a striking error, say, an off-center strike or double die, and the value can skyrocket to $50,000.